Hey YouTube, and welcome to Groove Builders. I'm Disorderly Cone, and in this episode, we're going to be attempting to build our very first 3D pixel puzzle. And I'm pretty excited to get started on these guys because there's all different kinds out there. Now I decided to start with a pretty cool one. This one is a cup of coffee with some steam coming out. Let's get down to the workbench and open her up.
Alright Groove Builders, welcome to the workbench. We have our 3D pixel puzzle here from the guys at Be Puzzled, simply named Coffee. Take a look around the box. On the back we have a start every morning off with a kick, and we even have some writing saying a challenge for accomplished puzzle builders. But it's only a level 1 with 155 pieces, so I don't think it's going to be that hard. Let's go ahead and open this up to see what we got. The first thing we have is our instructions. And we also have 2 bags of bricks. Now there are a lot of bricks here, so we're going to go ahead and organize them by size and color before we get started on our build. And there we go. The main reason why we do this is it makes it really easy for us to find our bricks when we're looking at these instructions. Now looking at these instructions, they look quite unique, especially this first step. It looks like I'm going to be layering my bricks one section at a time. Let's get started. Putting our first couple of pieces together, you may notice I'm using tweezers to position the bricks in their spots. You can pick up bricks with your fingers, I just find it easier with my big hands to use tweezers. This might also be a pretty common thing to do because some other brands in their kits include a pair of basic plastic tweezers. Be Puzzled at this time doesn't really have any sets that come with tweezers, and their 8 other models range in some very unique theming, from farm equipment over to food. Personally, I think the sushi set that they have looks very unique, and I might have to pick that up for a future build. These small nano brick builds have become really popular in the last few years, with a lot of companies popping up to try and make their mark. I find that some of the best nano brick puzzles are the ones that come from sites like Alibaba and Alibaba Express. What really appeals to me about these builds is the detail you can achieve with all the small bricks. Looking at some of the other companies like Nanoblock, they cover themes from cityscapes and monuments, cars, animals, and even food. With the creative culture I feel spreading and old lovers of plastic brick builds, I won't be surprised if you find these builds around the office, school, and home. Enjoy the sounds of Griz's Funk Party, and I'll catch you Groove Builders after the build.
Alright Groove Builders, we did it! We built ourselves our very first 3D pixel puzzle, and I think it came out pretty good. Let's talk about it a little bit more in construction difficulty. The first thing I want to say right away is that these bricks are not like any other bricks I've ever built with before, and that includes Lego. These ones have a very unique track along the bottom that allows the brick to slide around, and when you're trying to build, this can be a little bit challenging to deal with, but it also can be a little bit easier when you're near the end trying to make some of these bricks size up to where they need to go, especially with the smoke. I found that a little bit challenging to get all these bricks to line up perfectly, and that's because they were sliding around. I definitely recommend taking them apart, putting them on a table, lining them up, getting everything all nice and good, and then putting it together along the top. This will make it look a lot nicer and more uniform like you see now. My second point would be about the directions on this particular build. They're not incredibly hard to follow, but there's definitely some parts of it that could be a little bit more clearer, especially when it changed the orientation of the piece. I find when you're trying to find certain pieces from the upside down angle, it's kind of almost impossible to figure out what they are, and you really have to look really close and almost do some math to figure out what pieces need to go where. If they would just kept the same orientation throughout the entire directions, it would have been a lot easier to follow, and I think at the very end of the day, made things a lot quicker for people to finish. And with those 2 points, let's go ahead and move on to build time. This 3D pixel puzzle took me about an hour and a half to build, and I feel like that's going to be about average for most people who are just starting to build these. The directions can be a little bit confusing, and learning how to use the bricks will add a little bit more time on too. Again, I feel an hour and a half is about average for building this, and I don't expect much longer than that. And finally, Groove Builders, let's move on to my thoughts. This 3D pixel puzzle was a lot of fun to build. I think they did a really good job designing the cup and also having the coffee with the translucent blocks of steam coming out. Very interesting detail. I think it is a little bit silly though that they didn't have the cup fit into the saucer, although they do sit together pretty well. Now, if you're looking to get into these models, I definitely recommend starting with this guy because I think it gives you a pretty good indication of what to expect from other models in this particular series. Don't worry though, Groovers, I think after doing this one, we'll do a few more of them down the road. And with that, Groove Builders, we're at the end. I had a really good time building this 3D pixel puzzle coffee cup with you, and if you guys had a good time, don't forget to press that like button. For more videos like this, hit subscribe as well, as we got all kinds of really cool content coming out in the future. Until next time, Groove Builders, keep building.